Hello, so today I will be showing you my experiment. The name of my experiment is called Flying High. About my experiment. So, for this experiment, I wanted to know which types of airplanes would fly the farthest out of the four airplanes that I picked. I thought it would be a cool experiment to do since I'm really into airplanes. I picked the F 15, the stable, the basic airplane, and the Arrowhead for this experiment. I will be using paper models of these airplanes that I picked. So, I did my research and then I formed my hypothesis. My first hypothesis is that the plane that will fly the farthest is the F 15 because it has a really straight nose and the back wings are really straight and it has something to support it. For my second hypothesis, I think that the airplane that will not fly the farthest but instead fly the shortest distance is the Arrowhead because of the straightness in the back and then it starts to curve in after it becomes wide. So I think that'll just I fear that it will just like pull it down. So time for my variables. My independent variable will be the plane models. My dependent variable will be the distance that each airplane flies. The control of this experiment will be the basic paper model because I will take the basic airplane data and then I will compare the other airplanes to the one of the basic airplane. Finally, my constant will be the paper that I use, the fact that I will be testing this during the daytime, and where I will be testing it because those will all stay the same. Procedures. Materials that I need. 5 sheets of paper, one for your table and your hypothesis, and then the other four for the airplanes. A measuring tape, and a wide empty area for you to test out this experiment. Number one, ask a question. You need to ask a question in order to form your hypothesis because your hypothesis has to be based off the research that you make. You need to see if that hypothesis is right based on the experiment. Number three, make the four airplanes. You can pick any airplane that you want. Here are some examples over here: the Dagger, the Arrowhead, the F 15, and the basic airplane. Number four, you need to sketch out a table where you will keep your data. Number five, go to a wide spaced area to test out your experiment. Number six, one by one, test out each airplane 4 times while keeping measurements with a measuring tape and record your data on your table. After that, calculate the average and see your results. Questions that I asked myself at the end of the experiment will be: what was your hypothesis right? And did you compare your data to that of the basic airplanes? What is the distance in between each average? The basic airplane went 208 inches first, 236 inches second, 224 inches fourth, and 259 inches last. F 15 went 185 inches first, 192 inches second, 224 inches third, and 198 inches fourth. Next, the Arrowhead. First, it went 154 inches, then it went 188 inches, then it went 147 inches, and then finally it went 228 inches. Last but not least, the stable. 171 inches first, 228 inches second, 261 inches third, and 221 inches fourth. After that, I put it all on my graph and then I calculated the average. The basic airplane over here had an average of 232 inches, the F 15 had an average of 200 inches, the Arrowhead had an average of 179 inches, and the Sable had an average of 220 inches. When I compared the F 15 to the basic airplane, it has a difference of 32 inches. Just 32 inches, sorry. The Arrowhead, when you compare the Arrowhead to the basic airplane, it has an average of 53 inches. Then finally, when you see the comparison for the stable and the basic airplane, the distance in between those two is 12 inches. The one that went the farthest distance was the basic airplane, then came the stable, then came the F-15, and the shortest distance, the Arrowhead. Checking my hypothesis. My first hypothesis, if you remember, was that the F-15 would fly the farthest. Turned out I was wrong. The plane that actually flew the farthest was the basic airplane. And that's okay. My hypothesis, even if it's wrong, I still learn. The learning part is what's most important. I learned from this experiment. My second hypothesis was the plane that would fly the smallest amount would be the Arrowhead. Turned out to be right. Conclusion. So we are at the end of this experiment. The point of this experiment was to see which airplanes went the farthest out of the four, and I've gotten my answer to my hypothesis. The Arrowhead went the shortest distance, and the basic airplane actually went the farthest distance. Everything went okay, and I got one hypothesis right out of two. The end of the experiment, and I will see you next time. Thank you for your time.